the original ancestors of humankind. And specifically to man and woman, gave a growth period so that they can grow on themselves and to reach perfection. That's what the Creator longed for. However, those who were supposed to become the ancestors of humankind,
하나님의 절대적으로 하나 된 자리에서
they
성장했어야 했는데
should have grown in oneness.
에덴에서 쫓겨났어요.
They're supposed to grow in one heart with God, but they did not, so they were kicked out of the Garden of Eden.
하신 분이에요.
God's beginning and the end is the same. Since He has begun, He must finish what He has started.
당신이 세우신 창조 원칙을
Centered
볼 수는 없어요.
on, He cannot change the principle of creation that He had created.
타락한 인류를
That is why
그냥 버려둘 수 없어.
He could not just
구원 섭리 역사를
leave behind the fallen humanity. That's why He brought about the
성경에서
history
우리가 알고 있는 이스라엘 민족을 택하시어
of the providence of restoration.
4천년이라는
That's why He has brought about the chosen people, the Israelites, for 4,000 years,
개인에서부터
and has worked throughout those 4,000 years to restore from an individual, family, tribe, people to the level of nation.
세워서
And at each level,
나아오는 과정에
God has set a central figure to bring about the restoration of providence.
반드시
And during that time, if that central figure was not able to fulfill
성경을
the person's
통해서
responsibility,
알고 있어요.
then the person had to pay indemnity. That is what the Bible teaches us.
엄청난 수고를 거쳐서
Through this tremendous efforts
내
by
아들과
heaven
한
and
독생자
humankind,
예수 그리스도를
for
보내주셨는데
4,000 years, God was able to send
어찌하여
Jesus, who He can call His own Son. But
33년
how can we, the people,
십자가로 나아갈 수밖에 없었습니다.
send Jesus to the way of the cross at the only age of 33? At this point, we must understand
예수님을 탄생시킨 마리아, 성령에 의해서 탄생됐다고.
Mary, who birthed Jesus, the Bible says it's an immaculate conception.
사가리아 가정,
Mary, the Zechariah family, as well as the Jewish people,
예수님의 본질을 몰랐어요.
they all did not understand the essence of Jesus.
그렇게 참 고생에 나오는 이스라엘 민족이 메시아를 기다렸지만
The Jewish people who have suffered so much in order to carry on the responsibility of the restoration of providence, but they did not understand the essence of Jesus. They did not understand how to attend Jesus.
사람들은 주변에 없었어.
In that sense,
제자를 세웠지만은
there was no one who was besides Jesus. You could say that there were the 12 disciples, but they did not understand the providence
십자가로
in its
나아갈
essence.
수밖에 없는
That is why Jesus had to go to the way of the cross. That
아바 아버지여
that sorrowful heart.
이 잔을
Even Jesus
용하여
prayed,
주시옵소서. 그러나
has prayed in
당신
this
뜻대로 하옵소서.
moment that do as Father needs. That was
하늘이 고대하던
the heart that Jesus had at the cross.
중심 인물
The central
타락한 인류를
figure that
다시
God has intended to send,
해줄 수 있는
the person who could
인류의
rebirth
아버지가 되실 분을 십자가로 내몬
the humankind, the ones who could rebirth
어떤 탕감을 치렀는지
the fallen humankind, the
여러분은
true
압니까?
father, who was supposed to become the true father of humankind. The people who led such central figure to the cross, do you know what kind of indemnity that they had to pay?
다시 오마
Jesus
다시 와서는 어린 양
said
잔치를 한다
that he will
했는데
return, and he said he will celebrate the marriage lamb
성령의
celebration.
부활로 사도들에 의해서 출발이 됩니다.
The Christianity began centered on the works of the Holy Spirit through the disciples.
예수님의
But
본질을
they did not
몰랐어요.
understand the essence of
그냥
Jesus.
다시 오마 했으니
They just believed that
오실까?
Jesus' words that he will return. And in that sense, only centered on such words, they were just waiting
기독교는 출발이
for
돼요.
Jesus to come. And that is the beginning
로마에
of
공인되면서
Christianity.
유럽 대륙을 거쳐 전 세계로
And through the works of Rome and the worldwide mission, it was able to spread worldwide.
예수님의
However,
내 이웃을 내 몸같이 사랑해라. 사랑.
the
그것을
Christians
100%
did
실천하지
not
못했어요.
100% live by Jesus' words of love thy neighbor like
가장
yourself.
기독교권에서 아픔을 치렀던 대륙이 아프리카 대륙이야.
The continent that suffered most under
어떻게
the
선교사들이
Christian
성경을
under
들고
the
나와서
Christians was the African continent.
혈세기
How can
등하다가요.
missionaries who carried the Bible and went around the world,
노예로 잡아다가 팔 수 있었을까?
how can such people
있을 수 없는 일을 했어요.
take Africans just because of the difference in their skin color, bring them and sell them as slaves? It's an unimaginable
기독교권에서
thing that has happened. And also, centered on this such Christian realm, the communist belief where God does not exist was able to begin. In that sense, the current state that the world is in is still a intense fight between democracy and communism.
점점 하나 될 수 없는 세상으로 흘러가고 있는 오늘의 현실을 놓고 볼 때
The reality is that the world is
하늘은
drifting away from
타락한
becoming
인류를
one.
구원하기 위해서 많은
And looking at
종교를
such
허락하셨어요.
reality, heaven has allowed many religions to come about in order to
백성들을
help
선도할
guide
수 있는 종교를
humanity
허락하여 나오셨는데
to restoration. Centered on its location,
남성
different
위주로 나왔어요.
religions were able to come about, but most religions were centered on the man.
창조 원칙을 놓고 볼 때
From the viewpoint of the principle of creation,
혼자서는
man himself
생명을
cannot
탄생시킬 수 없다.
birth life on his own.
종교도 마찬가지야.
Religion is the same.
이제 모든 종교가 종점에 왔어.
Now, all
다
religions
내려서
are at the end of its line. They have
어디로
to
가야 될까?
let everything go and they have to figure out where is their final destination, their
하늘을
final
모시는
purpose.
참 부모를 찾아가야 됩니다.
They have to find true parents who attend heaven. That is the final destination of all religions.
아까도 개회사에서 송 회장이 말했지만
From what Dr. Song has said in his speech previously,
만약에 1960년대
what if in 1960,
기독교 기반이 환영할 수 있는 자리에서
on the foundation where the Christians
잔치를 했더라면
received true parents in a welcoming manner, and when we celebrated the marriage lamb ceremony on such foundation,
세계는
the world
이미
would
하늘
have
부모님을 지상에
already
모신 환경권에서
could have
인류 한 가족의 평화
achieved
세계가
an environment
되었을 거예요.
which the world as
그러나
one family under Heavenly Parent, attend Heavenly Parent here in the physical world.
그리 되지 못하여
However, that was not possible.
참 부모 역사는
And because of
53년이라는
such shortcomings, true
광야 노정을
parents'
거칠 수밖에
history
없었어요.
had to suffer through 53 years of
그러나
time in the
부모의
wilderness.
책임,
However, the responsibility of true parents
창조주 하늘 부모님의 꿈을
is
지상에서
to achieve,
이루어드려야
to
하는
realize
것이
Heavenly
참
Parents'
부모의
dream
책임.
here on earth. That is the
그거 볼 때
responsibility of true parents. And in that perspective,
하늘은
heaven
기원절 선포를 나보고 하라 했어.
guided me to proclaim the foundation day by
다시
myself.
말해서
In other words,
예수님의 소원을 놓고 보나
looking at the
섭리의
perspective
완성을 놓고 볼
of
때
a dream of Jesus and the completion of the providence.
초림 독생자는 탄생이 되었고
The first advent of the
그때
only begotten Son was already
독생녀는
burned,
없었어.
but at that time the only begotten daughter was not born.
하늘은 반드시
Heaven
새로운 선민을 택하여
must choose a newly chosen
초림
people and
독생녀를
has to
탄생시켜야만
birth
합니다.
an only begotten daughter. That must be done by heaven.
그것이 1943년
That is what happened
기독교
in 1943.
환경권에서
In the
탄생이
realm
되어야
of
하며
Christianity, the only begotten daughter must come,
많은 신령한
and many
목사들이나
spiritually
사람들이
open and guided
증거를 해야 돼요.
people must testify as coming of the only begotten daughter.
내가 태어날 당시는
The time around
일제에
my
있었고
birth, the Korea was under the imperial
1945년에
control of
해방이
Japan
됐어요.
and was liberated in 1945.
그때 당시는
At that
평양을
time,
중심 삼고
centered on Pyongyang,
미국의 장로회가
the Protestant movements
신령
from
역사를
America, from the United States,
활발하게 역사했을 때예요. 그래서 많은 기억이 되는 훌륭한 목사들이 탄생이 됐어요.
was the spiritual works of
그러나
the Presbyterian
2차 대전이 종료되면서
church and
연합군에 의해서
mission was very well
남과 북으로
done in
갈라졌어요.
Pyongyang, and many spiritual and many pastors and
소련이
spiritual
있을
leaders
때
were about in Pyongyang. But during because of the Second World War,
그리고
the
5년
North
후에
was divided.
6.25 동란이 일어나게 돼요.
And after 5 years,
여기에서 여러분들이
5 years
알아야 될 것은
after the World War has ended, the Korean War began. What you have to
창조
understand is that
원칙을 놓고 볼 때
centered on
당신이
the principles
탄생시킨
that he has set,
인간에게는 성장
to the
기간을
person
주셨다 했어요.
that
그렇다면
he has created,
6천년 만에 탄생시킨
he has to give
독생녀 앞에는
a time of the growth period. And based on that principle,
하늘이 보호하여
to the only
성장하여
begotten daughter that he has
스스로
sent after 6,000 years,
판단하고 결심할 수 있을 그 연령까지 하늘은
until she can make her
나를
own
보호해
decisions
주셔야
on
돼요.
her own, it is the
그러나 그때
responsibility
환경이
of heaven to
남북으로
protect
갈라진
me. And at that
형태로서
time,
민주화
when I was
공산이
still young, the Korea was divided, and more so that
활발하게
the North Korea
남침할 준비를 하고 있을 때
was actively preparing to invade the South.
남한에는 독립운동을 하던 대표 인물들이 여럿이 있었기에 질서를 잡는 데 있어서 시간이 좀 걸리는
The South was very focused on the independence. That's why it took time for them to come together and to settle and to form a cohesion among the South. But North, centered on Kim Il-sung, they were able to unite more quickly and was able to amass
아이가 하늘
a
섭리를
military.
받았잖아요.
As you know, a 6-year-old girl cannot accept or bring about
6.25 동란이 일어날
the
때
providence at that age. That's why heaven has
이북을
guided
이해할 수 있을 그러한 모든 준비가 돼 있지 않은 상태에서
me
공산화가 될
to the
수
south.
있는 입장이었기에
And because at that time the North was very not a safe environment and was working towards become a communist nation, heaven has guided the UN and 16 nations and brought about the UN forces to participate in the Korean War and has worked to protect the democracy of South Korea.
그때 16개국에 동참한 병사들의 연령이
Those soldiers who attended
20대 미만
from the 16 nations, the age of all those soldiers were under 20. Even on the social standards, they were considered at the age where they're most pure.
섭리의 완성, 하늘 부모님의 꿈을 이루어드려야
But
할
those such innocent,
참부모,
at such innocent age,
독생녀가
whether they understood,
살아서
they participated in the providence where
꿈을 이루어드릴 수 있게
worked
하기
to
위하여
sacrifice their life to protect the life of the only begotten daughter so that she can fulfill the dream of Heavenly Parent. That's why they sacrifice their lives.
태어나면서부터 하늘과 교감하며 나온 나로서는
Even since birth, I was in
하늘의 사정이
connection, in total connection with heaven.
기다릴 수 없다는
And
사정을
I
알았기에
understood such urgency of heaven and such urgent situation that the heaven was in.
참고 기다리며 기원절 천일국을 선포하고
I have waited, endured a long time,
선포만 해서는 안 돼.
and have
보여줘야 돼.
proclaimed the foundation day. And as you know, it's not just about the proclamation, but I had to show everyone how to
지상에서
do it.
참 부모를 통해서 많은 자녀들과 함께
Heaven's wish is to live on earth, the life of heaven here on earth, with as many children as possible. And
천상 세계에서
in
영원히
the manifestation of true parents, and to go to the spirit world, the eternal spirit world with true parents. That was the wish of Heavenly Parent.
성원 64주년
The 64th anniversary of the Holy Wedding
12주년을 맞으면서
and the 12th year of Chunilguk.
나는 하늘 부모님의 꿈을 이 땅에 실현하기 위한 환경을 만드는 데 있어서
In the efforts to create the environment to realize Heavenly Parent's dream here on earth,
대륙을
I,
시작으로
from the beginnings of the continent of Africa, the most difficult area, and also not centered on the Christian
마호멧
realm,
세네갈 종교
But-
지도자가
the
나는
Muslim
독생녀다 아프리카를
background.
구원하겠다 하니까
I have proclaimed in front of a Muslim
자기네
religious
교회는 독생녀를
leader that
환영한대.
I am the only begotten daughter, and then I came to save humanity. And what that leader told me was that we welcome only begotten daughter.
그래서 내 아들이 됐어.
And he became my son.
대통령도 내
And then
하늘 섭리를
Also,
설명하고
the president, I've explained to him the providence, and I have proclaimed to him that I am the only begotten daughter, and let's work with
아들이
me.
됐어.
And he also became my son.
아마 내년 입궁식 때는 다들 올 거야.
I expect them to come to the entrance ceremony of Cheonwongung Cheonil Sanctum next year.
어떻게 회계권에서
How can in the realm of the Muslim nation, how can we do
했다는 거
a
아니야?
blessing ceremony in the name of true parents? That's what I have done.
이게 종교 통일, 참
Unification
부모가
of religions.
중심에 있으면은
If the true
모든
parents
종교가
are
통일돼.
at the center, then all religions will be unified.
나라들도 마찬가지야.
Nations are the same.
하늘이 허락하는 가운데 뭐 잘 사는 나라, 못 사는 나라 200여 개국이 있는데
There are
이들에게
more than 200 nations, some rich,
원래
some poor.
우주의 주인 되시는
But for all
창조주가
of them,
우리의 하늘
the
부모님이다.
creator
그 하늘
of all this physical world is Heavenly Parent.
그 하늘
Such
부모님의
truth.
꿈을 지상에
And centered on
이루어지는
such truth,
참 부모로
the
말미암아
dream to live with his children
이제
here on earth, such dream of heavenly
천왕궁이
parent,
건립이
is the
되어
one who realizes it is true parents, and centered on
내년에는
the completion of
하늘
Cheonwon
부모님을
next year,
모시는
we
입궁식을
will
하게 되는
do the
이
entrance ceremony where we invite
엄청난
and attend heavenly parent
가슴이
here on earth.
설레는
Such
벅찬
exciting, such
감사와
tremendous
기쁨을 어찌
gratitude and
우리들만이
happy event.
누려야
How can we
할까요?
only enjoy it for
세계
ourselves? We must
80억 인류가 다
tell
함께
all the
하늘
8 billion
부모님을
people
지상에
around the world,
모시는 이 순간을 향해서
all the 8 billion people around the world must know that true
달려오는
parents are here on earth
하늘
with them.
부모님의 품에 모든 인류가
And all those people must
하나가
come
되는
running to the bosoms of
그날을
heavenly parent. Until that day,
모두의 정성과
we
노력으로
must all dedicate our
알리고
hearts and
앞당겨주는
pour our 정성
축복 가정
so that we could
여러분 모두가
fulfill
되기를
such day. And I
축원합니다.
really bless all of you to bring about such
감사합니다.
results. Thank you very much.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
감사합니다. 오늘 이 역사적인 한날
Such a
귀한 생명의 말씀을 우리에게 주신 천진
historical
참부모님께
day.
큰 감사의
Let's give a
박수를
big round of applause to
올려주시기
true
바랍니다.
parents.
뜨거운 함상으로
Let us
감사의 박수를
send
올려주시기
a warm
바랍니다.
round of applause again to our true parents, everyone.
이제
So
참부모님께서
from now on,
활동하시겠습니다.
True Mother will now move to her seat. I would like to ask everyone to please stand up as
인류의 소원, 천진 참부모님의
Heavenly Parents dream the wish of humanity, which is the